So today's video is going to be something that I haven't done before on this channel. Just basically going to be a little story about something that happened to me last year. I'm only just getting over it. And it's going to be on my stalker story. Now I am slightly exaggerating when I say that it was a stalker. I guess you couldn't say that it was a stalker, just maybe a psychotic obsessive person, but they're pretty much the same thing. This is just a warning for all of you women out there, especially all of you beauty therapists out there. There are some cray-crays walking around. So last year I did my diploma of beauty therapy at a beauty college, if you guys didn't know that. It was in a beauty school that was also kind of like a hair salon. Like the hair salon was down the bottom and then the beauty school classrooms, whatever, was up the top. Obviously, in order to get our diploma, we had to do practical things. We couldn't just learn about it in theory. We had to do practical assessments and all that sort of stuff. And we would get people kind of coming in after we'd sort of advertised on like Facebook and whatever to come in and have treatments done. There was this one time, like we had treatments like every single week, kind of like on a Tuesday or on a Friday, where we'd have people come in and they would get a treatment done and whatever, and we'd sort of be marked off just to kind of practice. It was called prac day or client day or whatever. I really hated those days. I just wanted to sit and like stare out the window. I didn't want to get up and do anything, but hey. So anyways, I had this issue one time where this guy came in. He had called up and he wanted a back wax, and I had never done a back wax before. I didn't really want to do a back wax, but I had to. And I'm not going to say his name, so let's just say his name was Greg. That wasn't his name, but let's just say it was. Greg was late to the appointment. It was a Tuesday afternoon on a sunny day. I had to call him up on the phone, get his number from the appointment book, call him up, and I was like, oh yes, you know, you're meant to be here at whatever time. I didn't say it that rudely, but you know what I mean. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm just, you know, 5 minutes away, whatever. And I thought that Greg would probably be around, you know, 50 years old, you know, like whatever. Most of the guys that came in were all around that age anyway. And when Greg appeared, he was probably in his like 30s or something like that. I don't know, he was young anyway. And you know, I wasn't attracted to him or anything like that. That's not where this story's going, girl. But anyways, he walked in late, as I said, and I walked him up the stairs to the classrooms where we did our practicals. And I basically just said, you know, take your shirt off, whatever, lay on the bed on your stomach. You know, I was feeling a little awkward because I didn't really want to back wax a guy, and he was feeling kind of awkward in my opinion because he was in a girls' beauty college getting a back wax. Like, why wouldn't you feel awkward about that? It'd be kind of weird if you did. Anyway, so he laid down on his stomach, kind of looking in the mirror next to me, like looking at me through the mirror with a little like smirk on his face, and I was like, I don't know what this guy is doing. Like, as I said, I thought he was just feeling a little awkward. So anyways, he laid down and then I pretty much back waxed him with the little wax strips and whatever. Hadn't ever done a back wax before, basically was just winging it, but I pretty much took all of the hair off. Literally took me like an hour to do, but anyway. So then he got up off the bed, walked outside, and he was like, when do you think that I should come back and get this done again? Which I thought was kind of weird because I thought, well, obviously you normally go and get waxes when the hair has grown to a point where you don't want to have it anymore. But I was like, oh, you know, maybe just come like in about 4 to 6 weeks. At that point in time, I didn't even really know about hair growth, so I was just like 4 to 6 weeks, you know, just kind of set it off the top of my head. And then he walked down, and normally after every client we had to go down and like do the till and like work the till and all that and take their money, but I didn't really want to because I was just feeling awkward at this point. He was kind of looking at me strange, and so I didn't go down. And then my teacher came up and they were like, oh, Greg's down the bottom waiting to be, you know, charged and whatever. So I had to go down, quickly charged it. Was a bit, you know, flustered because I just spent an hour back waxing a guy that literally looked as though he was the Amazon rainforest. He looked as though he had just evolved from a gorilla. It was just covered in hair, like not even joking you. I had to get a chainsaw out. Basically, he left and whatever. So that was actually a day where I think we had like 1 or 2 more days of school, and then we were on holidays because we were on holidays whenever everyone else was on holidays. So I was on holidays after that, just on break, and I remember I was hanging the washing out. This was back when I was living in my old place. I was hanging the washing out and I got a call from my not boss, but the teacher of my school, the person who owned the college, and she asked me to call her back, and I was like, oh, what's this about? So I called her back and she was like, oh, hi, you know, did you do your back wax on Greg? You know, he's called the school, he's emailed the school, something like that. And I was like, crap, you know, he had complained about me for not being attentive enough, or for not talking, or you know, he's had a rash and like broken out in a rash and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. And then basically she was like, Greg has given me his phone number and asked me to pass it on to you because he wants to take you out on a date. And I was just like, oh my lord. And I was just kind of sitting there like, well, I don't want to really go on a date with him, no offense, because I didn't find him attractive and I just didn't want to go there with someone I had just done a treatment on, like it was a client, like I didn't want to do that. You know, like fair enough, if like Harry Styles came in, I probably would have gone there with him, like regardless of what he was after, but this guy was just like, no. I basically said, you know, no, I don't really want to go there, sorry, you know, whatever, just leave it, blah, blah, blah. And then when I came back to school, I found out that he had rebooked. As soon as he'd gotten down to pay the first time I'd given him the back wax, he had rebooked for another 2 weeks, which as I said was a bit weird because I had basically told him just come back when the hair's grown back, and then he'd gone down and rebooked straight away, which was a bit contradicting. But anyways, basically told my teacher, I was like, you know what, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do another back wax on him, you know, like he's asked me out on a date, I don't want it to be awkward. I didn't want him to ask me out in person either because I didn't really want to say no in person. I didn't even know if I would because I'd be really nervous and awkward. So they were like, that's okay, we'll just put him with somebody else. Time went by and he kept calling up all the time, making sure that he was coming in to be booked in and all that sort of stuff. Just kept ringing my beauty college, telling, you know, people, like just making sure, you know, you've booked me in for this day and all this sort of stuff. So at this point in time I was kind of like, okay, you really just only need to make one appointment. You wouldn't kind of be calling up all the time making sure that, you know, you're right to come in. And he had requested for me to do it again as well. So at this point in time I just kind of thought it was a little awkward, and I told my teachers and whatever, I was just like, you know what, I don't really want this guy coming in, like I don't feel comfortable, he's kind of really pushy. And they're like, it's okay, you know, we'll put him with someone else and, you know, he'll be done. So anyways, kept happening, he kept calling up all the time, leaving voicemails. My teachers at the end of the day were just kind of ignoring it because he kept calling all the time. And then it got to the point where I thought, okay Jess, you're just going to have to take matters into your own hands. So sneakily, as I do, I went to the appointment book, which I don't even think I was allowed to do, looked up his name, found his mobile number, and decided that I would text him. Now the silly thing that I did was I texted him off of my phone, which was stupid because now he has my number. So I texted him and I was just like, hi Greg, thanks for the offer, but I have a partner, which I didn't at the time, but I just decided to say that because I thought, you know, that's kind of a nice way of kind of saying, you know, no thank you, without kind of just being obvious and being like no. And at this point in time I thought that he would message back and say, oh, I'm really sorry Jess, like, I didn't realise you had a partner, like I'm sorry. But that is not where it ended. He messaged me back and he said, well, can we still be friends? And I was just at this point thinking, what have I gotten myself into? Because I thought no guy would do that and then be like, can we be friends? Can we still be friends? Like, we were never friends. I literally met this guy once, he come in as a client, like we weren't friends. And I was just like, you know what, I don't think that that's, you know, I don't think we should go there. I don't think it's professional. You're a client of mine. Like, I don't want, you know, to be friends basically with someone I don't know. And he basically just kept avoiding the conversation, and he kept saying my name over and over in the text messages, like Jess, Jess, Jess. He was like, you know, you're really, really good at what you do. Do you know that? How old are you? And I just kept writing back like, please stop texting me. Please stop calling up. Like, you know, you're not going to be able to come back here again because you've just been really obsessive. And I was like, you know, I have a partner. He's not going to be happy about this. Like thinking, God damn, if there was one time I wanted a boyfriend, it is now. So anyways, he messaged me back then and he was like, I have a partner too. And at this point in time, I don't think that he was serious having a partner. Like, why anyone would go there with him, I don't know. But I was just like, this is not good. I have gotten into shit with this one. I said, well, you know what, if you have a partner, why would you go to the length of contacting, you know, the teacher of my school, asking for my number, blah, 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 giving me your number. And he basically said, because you're softer and you're cuter than my partner. And I don't even know what softer meant. He sure wasn't soft. I just was like, okay, this is weird. And I had no idea what to do, and then I just kind of ignored him and deleted the text messages. Walked in to my teachers and said, tell this guy he can't come back in again. I don't even want him in this school. Like, I was like, you know what, I know I'm just a student here, but dead set, I don't want him back in the school, he's weird. He kept messaging me like, where are you, Jess? What are you doing? Why aren't you messaging me back? I'll try you again later. Just craziness. And my teacher's like, okay, you know, we'll call him, we'll let him know that, you know, we'll just say that we're not offering waxing anymore at the moment. He can't come in and have it done, whatever. So he had already booked in to come in the next week, I think on a Tuesday once again. He'd already booked in, you know, it had been written down all before this had happened. So that day I decided I was going to leave school early before his appointment, because I was like, I am not even staying in here. If he walks in and sees me, like, God only knows what he's gonna have. Like, you know, he could be coming in with roses and chocolates and, like, you know, freaking a whip. I decided to leave, and I just pretended like I was going for a doctor's appointment when I was really just leaving school. I'm sure everybody knew why I was really leaving. He ended up not answering his phone when people were ringing up to tell him that he couldn't come in. Didn't even go to voicemail, and then yeah, he never ended up coming in again, which is really, really good. And then I got a text message like 2 weeks later or something saying, you know, are you not talking to me now? And I just found this app that blocks people, and I blocked him, and yeah, it was just really, really strange and awkward, and I was like, I don't want to ever do male treatments again. So that is just a little stalkerish, crazy psychopathic story of something that happened to me all over a wax. Like, obviously he'd gotten off on the waxing, and why on earth you would get off on waxing, I don't know. Part of me thinks that he was like trolling me by messaging me, like saying like, where are you, why aren't you talking? Either that, or he just really is insane, I don't know. I'm hoping it's the first one. That is just my story. I just thought I'd share it with you guys for a little bit of entertainment and funniness. Thumbs this video up if you want to see more stories about embarrassing times in my life, or just stories in general, because it was really fun to film. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye!